Good morning. Well, this is the last Granny Shears of my trip. I've been faithful, haven't I? I've tried. Everywhere I gone, you've seen the background of it, where I'm sharing with you the Bible. We're going to share starting with verse 20 of Isaiah 30 today. We've already done 20 and 21, but I wanted to go back over it because it kind of introduces what the rest of the chapter is about. And it says, "And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left." So I'm just a little girl from Nocatee, and God called me and my husband to start a church, and called our daughter to start singing songs and put day by day and putting them online. Eventually we just kept putting them online, and God has just given me the admonition to share what I know of the Bible. And so here I am. You can see me with your eyes. It says, "But thine eyes shall see thy teachers." And I don't know how you came to see me, but you did. And this is a fulfillment of this prophecy. "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left." This word is telling us how we ought to walk. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And he is the Word made flesh. So the Word is telling us, and we are seeing and hearing what he wants us to do and how he wants us to live. And then verse 22 says, "Ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold." The covering and the ornament of those graven and molten images of silver and gold. So we in America, we don't think of ourselves as worshiping idols. But, you know, when they say American Idol and all that stuff, you know that there are people that we love to see because they're stars. And there's things that we love to watch because it's our team, rah, rah, rah. And we don't think of them as idols because they're not graven images of silver and gold. But when you get a relationship with Jesus, somehow those things, those in India or in China or someplace like that, they have, and I've heard they have like something like 700 different idols over there, gods, and they have them in their house. Well, when they get to know Jesus Christ, they want to take it and throw it away as a menstruous cloth. Us women know we don't let anything like that hang around us. No, we don't. And the men do too. You know that that's not something that you want around your house. And that's not something you want in your house when you belong to Jesus. You don't want any idols. "Thou shalt say unto it, Get thee hence." Get out of here. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And that's what happens to you when you fall in love with Jesus, when you begin to serve the Lord. You don't want to have anything to do with idols. "Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, that thou shalt sow the ground withal, and bread of the increase of the earth, and it shall be fat and plenteous. In that day shall thy cattle feed in large pastures." You know, I rode across Kentucky and Tennessee and in Alabama yesterday, and I saw some large pastures with cattle feeding there. And I saw the seed. "Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, that thou shalt sow the ground withal." I mean, with all the ground was sowed with the seed. There were humongous wheat fields and fields of corn and fields of all kinds of wonderful soybeans. I mean, there were great fields where you just look across and you'd marvel. It looked like a river of green, a green river of the crops. It was amazing. And that's what he said, then shall he give the rain of thy seed. When you get rid of all the idols, you know, our country has never been known for having images of graven images and molten images. We've started out as a Christian nation. And though we do have idols, make idols of people and make idols of rock stars and idols of athletes and those kind of things, we're not so cursed with the idol gods as some nations are. And then the Lord has blessed our nation. He has given us great increase as far as being able to grow giant crops to feed the world. I mean, there are giant crops being grown in Kentucky, in Tennessee, in Alabama. They're just giant crops being grown, and that's only 3 states, and it's all over how the land is being used to grow food. It's wonderful. And how the land is large pastures for the cattle. I mean, it's amazing. And God has blessed us. And if we could just continue to, those of us that are Christians, continue to work for Him and love Him and try to help others see the right way. You know, here is the way, walk in it, right? Then it says in verse 24, the oxen likewise and the young asses that ear the ground shall eat clean provender, which hath been winnowed with the shovel and with the fan. They are, even the animals are being blessed with clean provender. They are being blessed with good things to eat. And the ones that are helping with all the work. I'm telling you, I look and see the machines that they use now to plant and harvest the crops. It's amazing. It's amazing how America has taken what God has given us and used it so fully and so amazingly. And then verse 25 says, and there shall be upon every high mountain and on every high hill rivers and streams of water. Boy, did I see rivers and streams of water. You know, water coming out of the rock hills, flowing down where they have broken the rocks to open up a road. And I saw water coming out of those rocks. And water, the big, wide river. I went over the Tennessee River yesterday, and oh my, where does all that water come from? Where does all that water that just keeps flowing? How does a giant river not run out of water? That's because God has made it, and He is a great God. But this verse right here ends with something amazing. It ends with, it says, and there shall be upon every high mountain and upon every high hill rivers and streams of waters in the day of the great slaughter when the towers fall. You know, we know the towers falling. We might not know the towers falling in previous generations or the history of all the towers that have ever fallen, but we know the day the towers fell that we know of, and that's 9/11, 2001. We know. We saw them. We saw the towers fall, and it was a great slaughter. It was not something small that happened to our country. It was something that scared every one of us. I remember going down to read to the kids after it happened, and I would look up. If I heard an airplane in the sky, I would look up with a little fear, because that's the way they had attacked us. And we weren't expecting the towers to fall. We were only expecting, even after we saw that the planes had attacked the Twin Towers in New York, after we saw that they'd just been attacked and they were burning up there in the heights of the tower, whoever knew that they were going to fall, and why did they fall? But the Bible says that all these high mountains upon every high hill, rivers and streams of water, blessings from God in the day of the great slaughter when the towers fall. And still our country is blessed of God, aren't we? I saw it yesterday. I saw how the rain was falling on the crops, helping them to grow, helping them to feed America and feed other countries. So in the midst of God's blessings, this chapter seems to be very much in that manner. In the midst of God's blessings is God's wrath. In the midst of God's blessings is trouble. Verse 26 says, "Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days, in the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people, and healeth the stroke of their wound." As far as I know, that has never happened. That is a prophecy. As much as a prophecy is in Revelation. When we turn over to the book of Revelation, you're going to read things that haven't happened yet. And in Isaiah, you're going to read things that haven't happened yet. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That hasn't happened yet. There's so many things in Revelation that hasn't happened yet. And we read about in the Revelation 16, and it says, "And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat." So that could be this prophecy here. But it doesn't say the heat of the sun was turned up, but it says the light of the sun shall be sevenfold. But it seems like if the light was turned up, maybe the heat would have to be too, but I don't know. I don't know when the Lord is speaking of here and when that's going to happen, but as far as I know, it hasn't ever happened. And it says, "In the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people, and healeth the stroke of their wound." So there's help coming for God's people which are the Jews and Jerusalem, God's people which are his chosen people then, and also it can be the day that he heals our wounds and the stroke of our wound, the breach of his people. So we're looking for these prophecies to be fulfilled. Verse 27 said, "Behold, the name of the Lord cometh from far, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire, and his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach to the midst of the neck to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err." It seems that he's speaking of the book of Revelation now, the time of the book of Revelation, when the great tribulation comes and when people are going to err, meaning make a mistake, not understand how to go in the right direction, but going in the wrong direction, that he said there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. Well, let me tell you, the Antichrist would cause everybody to err. They were going to take a mark in either in their forehead or their right hand, and they can't go to heaven if they take that mark. I mean, that's a big mistake, and there's going to be a bridle in the jaws of the people causing them to err. God is going to let this come upon our world, but the Bible says, pray that you may be accounted worthy to escape the things that are coming to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. It doesn't just say pray, it says pray always, that you may be able to escape. And that's when Jesus comes for his bride. So pray that you may be counted worthy before all of this happens, when God comes from far, burning with his anger. I'm going to stop right there and we'll finish this tomorrow. God bless you.